everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. If you've been paying any attention to the digital space lately, you've probably noticed a massive transformation heading into 2026. I'm talking about the absolute explosion of AI avatars and virtual influencers across platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and even your everyday customer support channels. I'm incredibly curious to unpack this whole thing with you today. We're going to figure out exactly how this fascinating technology works, why it is growing at such a staggering pace, and crucially, the very real ethical risks involved. It's going to be a colorful, structured lesson, and I think we'll both leave with a much clearer understanding of these digital humans that are quite literally taking over our screens.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. First, how AI avatars function. Second, the business efficiency boom. Third, AI versus human influencers. Fourth, consumer ethics. And finally, the hybrid path forward.
So, Section 1, how AI avatars function. Let's peel back the curtain a bit.
Creating a truly interactive digital human isn't just magic. It relies on a super precise 4-step process working in real time. Step 1 is automatic speech recognition, or ASR, which simply captures spoken words and converts them right into text. Step 2 is the large language model, the LLM. Now, you can think of this as the avatar's brain. It analyzes the user's intent and drafts a completely context-aware response. Next up is Step 3, text-to-speech, which converts that drafted text back into completely natural-sounding audio. And finally, Step 4 is the real-time animation engine. This is really where the magic happens, synchronizing the lips and the facial expressions to make that avatar truly come alive right in front of you. But you know what is absolutely staggering to me? It's the speed. This entire cycle from listening to processing to generating empathetic body language happens in under a second. Literally under a second. That's just wild. And it's not just fast either. It actually has emotional intelligence. Modern avatars are now sophisticated enough to detect user sentiment through tone and expression. That means they can adjust their own demeanor instantly to be more helpful or cheerful or empathetic, depending on what the situation calls for.
Moving right along to Section 2, the business efficiency boom.
Now, what's really interesting about this anchor data is the sheer financial difference we're looking at. Just think about it, $1,694 versus over $78,000. That is the estimated rock bottom cost of running an AI influencer campaign compared to hiring a traditional human counterpart. For businesses, big and small, this financial advantage isn't just a slight improvement, it's a complete paradigm shift. And the cost savings, they go way beyond just that initial paycheck. There's literally zero need for camera crews, actors, makeup artists, or physical studios. Basically, one single person can run an entire virtual brand from their laptop. Even more powerfully, these avatars offer 24/7 continuous content creation. They don't sleep, and they certainly don't need coffee breaks. They offer instant global scalability, meaning they can effortlessly switch from speaking English to Spanish to Hindi, reaching a massive global audience in an instant. They execute scripts flawlessly, providing top-tier customer support, and they open up massive monetization potential through things like sponsorships, YouTube ads, and affiliate marketing. But beyond just scaling globally and saving a ton of money, brands absolutely love this tech for the total control and brand safety it offers. AI avatars are completely immune to off-brand behavior. There are absolutely no late-night social media scandals, no unpredictable public relations nightmares, no aging, and no human fatigue. From a corporate perspective, the whole shebang is perfectly, beautifully predictable. All right, Section 3, AI versus human influencers. Let's do a direct comparison. When you put them head-to-head, it perfectly illustrates the scales balancing extreme efficiency against genuine authenticity. With an AI influencer, your costs are incredibly low, scalability is massive, and your risk control is off the charts. But there's a catch. The authenticity is inherently lower, and the emotional connection is, by definition, totally artificial. Human influencers, on the other hand, well, they're expensive, and they're definitely limited in how fast they can scale. But they provide way higher authenticity and a completely natural, genuine emotional connection that synthetic media just cannot replicate.
Which brings us to Section 4, consumer ethics, the dark side of all this.
So the crucial point is that with all this power comes some severe dangers. The most urgent danger we face right now is the deepfake. A deepfake is hyper-realistic synthetic media created using cloned faces and voices. And because this technology is becoming so incredibly convincing, it's increasingly being utilized for scams, fraud, and even bypassing tight security systems, like bank KYC verifications. The source material highlights the truly devastating Emily Hart incident, where a completely fake AI-generated persona successfully scammed thousands of real people out of their hard-earned money. And sadly, identity theft is really just the tip of the iceberg here. These avatars can be weaponized to spread fake news and political propaganda on a massive industrial scale. On a more individual level, the emotional intelligence of these avatars can actually lead to emotional manipulation. This creates dangerous parasocial addictions and severe social isolation, especially for vulnerable populations. We're also looking at immediate, very real job displacement for human influencers, voice actors, and customer support staff. Add to that the massive unresolved legal gray areas, like who actually owns a digital likeness or who is liable if an avatar spreads defamatory information, and you have a perfect recipe for the widespread erosion of consumer trust.
Oh, and there is also a deep psychological barrier we have to consider, famously known as the uncanny valley. This is a documented feeling of unease or sometimes even revulsion that's triggered when an artificial avatar looks or acts almost, but not entirely human. It's like your brain knows something is just a little off. This means imperfect realism can severely backfire, deeply alienating an audience rather than actually engaging them.
And we've actually seen this happen in practice. Consider the recent Gucci backlash. When Gucci utilized a Korean virtual influencer, instead of a warm, excited reception, it drew harsh accusations of being insincere and entirely off-brand. The vital takeaway here is that digital perfection simply does not equal consumer trust. People can inherently sense when something lacks genuine human warmth.
Let's wrap up with Section 5, the hybrid path forward. And this brilliantly illustrates the smartest path forward: coexistence. The most successful strategy moving forward isn't replacement, it's a hybrid model. AI models are absolutely perfect for handling massive scale, high volume, and repetitive customer service tasks. Human creators, meanwhile, should be freed up to focus on what they do best: deep storytelling, providing genuine empathy, and handling complex emotional issues that literally require a real human heart. Both can absolutely thrive together. But for this hybrid future to actually work, we absolutely must adhere to a strict ethical standard. Disclose, disclose, disclose. This is the critical mantra for best practices going forward. Failing to prominently label AI-generated content is just deceptive. It ruins consumer trust and runs entirely counter to emerging guidelines across the industry. Complete transparency is quite literally the only sustainable policy. So if you are a creator or a business operating in this wild west of a digital landscape, the emerging consensus points to a really clear checklist. First, always prominently label AI-generated non-human avatars. Second, if you're a real creator, protect your face and your voice in your contracts. You need to treat them as highly valuable intellectual property. Third, keep rigorous records of all AI-generated content and make sure you maintain human oversight. And finally, actively monitor the web for any unauthorized digital impersonation of your likeness. Which brings us to our final thought. The technology to create perfect, tireless, infinitely scalable digital humans is already here, and it's only getting more advanced by the minute. But as you process everything we've explored in today's explainer, I want to leave you with this one question to chew on. In an increasingly scalable, synthetic world, how highly will we value the imperfections of genuine human connection? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.